What points?
We'll pick a couple. We'll pick a couple.
Right, I'm not. I hate intro and stuff anyway, so I'm just gonna fucking
Do
talk about the last podcast we done. So we were. I want to just explain where you were because people might not remember.
Yep.
So well, they might not. You're very forgetful. Anyway, so you were about to start coaching.
Yep.
I think most of the chat involved anxiety and panic attacks, didn't it?
That's right.
And then you were frothing the cold water stuff. I think you'd recently found. I keep using the word frothing, mate.
Great,
I'll fit it in about 10 times.
Great.
I'm just loving it. Anyway, so since then, it looks like you've been hammering TikTok
Yep.
and you've been PTing quite a lot because you were saying you wanted to talk about that.
Yep.
And you're now dipping yourself in Loch Lomond instead of the bath and the bins.
That's exactly it.
We'll start on anxiety.
Right.
How's that going? Because you were pretty much like saying that you were constantly feeling it, weren't you?
Yeah, I think last time we spoke, I think I was going through like a really bad spell at the time. I think depersonalization, like I was just a constant mess, mate. Like if I'm being honest,
I was
at
like
the
the
time.
first thing you mentioned when you came in the door. You're
Yeah.
like, "Hi, I'm Chris. I've got anxiety."
That's it. Do you know? I think I said that because it makes me feel a lot easier. Like the fact that you're like, I've got anxiety now. So if I start tripping out or going to be a bit weird, then you know exactly why. I'm just having a bit of an anxiety attack or whatever. But at that time it was murder, mate. It was really bad. But in terms of now, it's rare. Like I'll get maybe one or two a week or something now. Whereas last time we spoke, it was like 4 or 5 a day. Like I was an absolute mess. See, before I actually came to the podcast that day, I was an absolute sweating mess, mate.
From knowing you were doing this.
Yeah, and you probably couldn't see because I wore a hat on that day, but I was, see when I left, mate, see the sweat around the room, it was disgusting. Honestly, that's how nervous I was. But no, since then, it's improved drastically. I don't know why.
That was my question.
I know you were going to
not
ask
know
that because I could see it in your eyes. You were about to go, why is that? And I don't know why that is, if I'm being honest. I don't know if it's maybe because since then I've stepped more away from dance since then as well, and mate, the dance industry is horrific. It's so bitchy, negative, and all that bad stuff.
Well, that was what we talked about. The freestyle industry was the same.
Yeah.
Like, fucking try to go to castings. Oh my god, castings are the worst experience I've ever had in my life.
Aye.
Oh, horrendous. I hated them. I mean, I remember one time I went down for a Nivea casting and it was like $6,000, and I would check my phone every 2 seconds just to see if I'd got like the call back. And I got a call back. And bear in mind, I'm going to London on megabuses for the casting.
Megabuses.
Yeah, and it was $6,000, and they were like, mate, they were making me like have a ball on the top of my head and then like pretending to shave. And I'm like, I can't act for shit. And then like they didn't have a clue what the advert was going to be. They just knew there was going to be a ball and you were obviously going to be using the shaving products. So like try fix them together. So I was like, they were like, have you got any ideas? So I'm like on the chair and all that, doing keep ups, and I'm like, what about this? Shaving and all that. And then it came out and like I got some mental looks as well. They were just like, this boy's clearly lost the plot. And I just got, all right, see you later. I'll just give me a call.
I could just imagine that audition, people juggling that while trying to put shit
I felt
on.
like bowing at the end. I was in there for like half an hour just sweating. And like, see, once you make a suggestion, they're like, what do you mean? You're like, oh, I'm going to have to actually show them what I mean.
Because they actually want you to do the weirdest stuff because it's good for that.
I think that's what they do. I think they keep they're the kings who keep them a straight face, but they know they're going to piss themselves as soon as you leave.
Aye.
And I knew that whilst I was doing the stuff I was doing, rolling about the floor and all that, pretending to shave with the ball on top of my foot.
That's the same as Britain's Got Talent and stuff like that, right? So they're like, is there anything like tragic happened to you recently or whatever? Anything you've had to like overcome or whatever? You're like, I lost my signage. How did you lose your signage? Tell us about it. Like, what happened? Like, that's how people make it on Britain's Got Talent. See people that have got like, they went through adversity and stuff like that, or
because they
overcome
love
something.
the fucking X Factor story, don't they?
100%, mate. So they can make an absolute story out of it and stuff like that as well. So, that's what auditions are like. Or being a dancer, they're like, right, so what can you do? And I'm like, well, I can dance. I know, but like, what kind of tricks can you do? Can you like, spin in your head? Can you run off walls or something?
Has anybody died?
Literally.
Recently.
Literally. Honestly, it's like a circus, mate. They just want to know what wild stuff you can do. And I'm like, no, just like, I'm a really good dancer, but everybody's a good dancer. But like,
did you do much adverts or anything like that?
Did I do? No, I'd dance for like JD and stuff for that.
We spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we busted.
Because I don't know how I don't know you from that. Because I'd done.
Yeah, because you said that. You done the football on this.
Did you know Fenn then?
Who?
Fenn.
No.
He was the one that hired everyone for it. That's how I knew the dancers that you knew.
For JD and stuff
Yeah,
you're talking about? No. I don't know if I remember him, but we just in terms of just busking on the street and stuff. I don't know how we didn't catch up that time.
I refused to speak to any other buskers. They were all freaks.
Social anxiety, or just didn't want to talk to them?
No, I purposely would not make eye contact with most of them. They're all fucking weirdos, mate. I had the one time I was actually on, because I used to go down to Newcastle myself.
Right.
Part of that was because I didn't want to do it in Glasgow all the time, and part of it was because I made more money in Newcastle. But I would go down to Newcastle myself on a megabus.
Mate, the megabus. Do you remember that story I told you in the last podcast of the Indian woman at the back?
The curry.
With the fingers and that?
Disgusting, mate. And I would go down. I would stay in a place called the Euro Hostel, which was next to Northumberland Road.
Right.
I'd go down there and I would get up at 7 in the morning. I'd go stand at 8 in the morning in the there's a bit where there's McDonald's and there's a shopping centre on just the main road. It's like the equivalent of like Buchanan Street.
Yeah.
So it was the best spot, and I would stand there for 4 hours, just claim the spot, because I could only do it for 3 or 4 hours, and 12 to 4 was the peak time.
Right.
So everyone fucking hated me. But I would just stand there, and but once you've got the spot, like it's Buskers Rules, like it's my spot, and I would just like kick the ball and I'm gonna do something soon, and I would have a massive speaker, and I had did I tell you about this? I had a massive argument with a mimer.
No.
He's screaming at me and all that.
Please tell me how this argument went.
He's just like, it was so funny because he'd be a broke character and just proper Geordie, like screaming at me.
Going to punch you.
It was fucking hilarious. I wish I could remember that, but I remember freezing at the time because I was also at 18, 19.
Right.
And just going, I'm having an argument in the middle of the street with a guy dressed in all white who's a mime artist. I should probably get a job.
By the way, question, did you bump into any like drunk people to come up to you? Because like my family's from Newcastle, right? So whenever they phone when they're drunk, which is quite a lot of the time, I can't understand a word they're saying. Like Glasgow people are bad enough when they're drunk, but Newcastle people I cannot understand. Like did you get any like drunk people bumping into you? Or?
More so in Glasgow, I think. I remember the very first time I bussed a guy, he came up to me and he was just speaking to me for like 5 minutes and he was watching my shows. And then I was like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, I'm just out the jail. I stabbed somebody. I was like, that's very cool. You're going to leave soon because you're fucking terrifying me. That was the very first time. I'm like 18. And I'm like,
Mate, that like it wasn't busking, right? It was on TikTok Live, and this was like last year or something like that, right? And these two guys come on, right? And you kind of see their face and like, all right, lads, what's happening? They're like, oh, nothing. We're just chilling. I'm like, usually it's if you're in a jail. They're like, well, mate, we're in a jail. And I'm like, how the fuck did you get on TikTok? Like, what the fuck's going on? They're like, we've got a raise, man, we've got a raise. That way you start to shite yourself like a wee bit when you start like, right, cool, mate. Well, you enjoy yourself. Yeah. I'm going to bounce and meet the next person.
Have a good day.
Aye, mate. Like, how do people get on TikTok in the jail? Don't understand.
I don't know. I think there's just a lot of drug smuggling and that sort of thing. You know, I don't really know much about these things. I just very much know about fitness and podcasting. I have very little knowledge. Paul said the word interface earlier. I was like, that sounds good.
And your face looked like, what's going on? What's an interface?
Inside my face. The anxiety, let's go back to it.
Yes.
If you can pinpoint anything that you think's made it better. Because I had the same thing so I had it for a full year. I think it was a breakup that started it. But then once you're in it and it's like fight or flight mode.
Yep.
I was like, that's what started it. But then everything gave me anxiety. Does that make sense? And I always, because I went to Asia maybe like 4 months after it. And then I got a bar job because I was doing freestyling at the same time. I was at the same point where you were dancing.
Yep.
I was done with it, but I was still doing jobs and I hated the jobs. I was teaching little kids how to do tricks and all that, and they wouldn't learn it. And I'd be like, fucking hurry up and learn this. Let's do my fucking man. Just put the ball in the back of your neck and let me fucking high five you and move on with our lives. Do you know what I mean? And then I actually went into a bar job, and it was all people I didn't know, and they were all sound and were all about my age. And I think it was just meeting people, new people, and getting a new surroundings that done it for me. It like took my mind off it.
For me, there's two things. I was actually speaking about this like recently, right? I feel like I've been doing a lot of meditation, right? And I feel like it's helping, but not meditation in this terms of like sitting down, cross your legs, cross your arms meditation. Meditation as in I'm thinking about nothing other than the thing that I'm doing, right? Now we spoke about cold water. When it's cold, I don't think about nothing. And for me, that's meditation when you're present in the moment and stuff like that. So cold water, that's why I've been doing it so much and stuff like that as well. And I feel like that's why it's been helping my anxiety and stuff like that as well. Muay Thai as well. When I'm fighting, I don't think about anything other than the sequence or the pattern or like the combo and movements and stuff like that. Or if you're sparring, like you're just thinking about you and your opponent and stuff like that. So I'm very much present in that. And then swimming as well. Like I've been doing swimming for like the triathlon and stuff that we were speaking about. And all I'm thinking about is breathing and counting my laps and my strokes and stuff like that when I'm in the water and stuff like that. So I feel like without me meaning to do it, I feel like I've become a lot more present in the moment, as like the Power of Now would say, that Eckhart Tolle book and stuff like that. So unintentional.
That book gave me anxiety.
Oh my God.
I was like, I can't get in the now.
Mate,
I've been trying all day. I can't even fucking finish one page of that book.
I remember sitting on a train, mate, reading it, right? And I was like, right, don't read the whole book. Just try and do what it's telling you. So I closed it, right? And then I'm sitting on the train. I'm like, right, be present. I'm like, right, I'm present. I think I'm present. I'm not present because present just passed, but now the present's now. And then exactly what you says, mate. It starts stressing you out.
I read it when we were on like a fucking tour of Europe, but it was drinking every day and busking, and we would be on our like we'd busk all day, we absolutely fucked, and then we'd be on our 10th pint and we'd be like, I'm in the now. That'd be awesome.
Oh, mate, things like that start making me question and stuff like that, like the Power of Now, be in the moment and stuff like that. And
I think I could read it now. I was like 19, 20 when I read it. I think I could read it now and maybe understand it.
But like for me, like the things like that don't even make me try and be in the moment. It makes me start overthinking things. I'm like, what is the now? Like, what is the present and stuff like that? And then that's where, like, exactly what you say is like my mind just starts going elsewhere and stuff like that, and I start like anxiety starts kicking in and stuff like that. But like you say, like I just feel like I've been doing more meditation, like more without actually doing meditation and stuff like that, and I feel like that's massively helped.
It was like a gradual process for me. Like I didn't think every day like, oh, I've got less anxiety. Do you know what I mean? I would like 6 months later be like,
yes.
I'd be like, I don't really feel like that anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I felt it.
See, when you were saying when you went and you met new people and new surroundings, right? Why is that? Because I feel like when I went away for that month, I didn't have it.
You didn't have anxiety?
No, which is weird. And then when I come back, it reappeared.
Well, see what you're talking about with Muay Thai and like swimming and all that. It's like different environments that make you not think about it.
Yep.
I think that's what it is. You're in a completely different place, so you're just constantly like trying not to die by a moped and all that.
Aye, true. And I've always got a lot of time in my hands, like to think as well, because I'm not teaching as much dancing these days. And then, like with the online PT and stuff like that, like you're doing it for home and stuff like that. So I've got so much free time, and for me, it's not a good thing, because that's when you start to like overthink. But I think you're right. I think with new surroundings and stuff like that, you don't really think.
It was new people for me. I think I just like see if I'm meeting a new person or like a group and I like all of them and I know I'm making new mates. That does it for me. Don't know why. I wouldn't say that's the solution for someone that's socially anxious here. Just make mates. Go to the pub. Speak to introduce yourself. But just getting in new groups done it for me. And I think it pulled me out of the stuff that was toxic for me. I think freestyle was toxic for me because there was no route for me that I was going to enjoy, because the making money in freestyle was very much going to become teaching kids. I didn't really like it that much. I could do it. I could do it really well. And the good thing about freestyle was kids loved you instantly, so I didn't have to have a personality. I could just do a trick and they'd be fucking love you straight away. Whereas so it got me a wee bit better with kids, but I didn't like it. And I didn't like getting 30 kids thrown at me and the teacher would take it as a free period. That would really stress me out. Also not tell you that some of them are autistic and will put the ball off your face every now and then. That happened quite a lot. At least the pre-warning of which ones could hurt me. Because it happened every fucking period. But yeah, I didn't like it. So I seen no route for me to do something that I liked. So I was just felt stuck. And then the breakup fucking sent me west and all. It was just like a combination of like fucking 5 things. And it blew. And my mum was having fucking mad episodes as well. Like mad manic episodes. So it's just a combination of them all.
For what I remember last time, you didn't really have it that much. It was quite...
I've not had it, and I would come back, but I can literally know what it is. Like, as in, it will be something that's caused it, if you know what I mean. Like money or, I don't know, something's happened. Do you know what I mean? I never had it, like, in a constant state again since. That's probably like 4 or 5 years. But I can remember how bad it was.
what was it? Was it last year we had the podcast onto?
Yeah.
Aye. So I think since then it's not been anywhere near as bad. I feel like starting to kind of understand it a wee bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think as long as I've got things planned, things to do, not having too much time on my hands and stuff for that as well. And then obviously social media is like, you know what I mean? Like when you're using the phone like the whole time, and then you bring it up and you're like,
it's awful.
oh, mate, it's...
That would trigger me again.
Aye, literally.
Well, that's why I have everyone on Instagram muted. It took me 2 weeks, and I still watch people's stories because if someone watches my story and they've got a red ring around it, I still watch it. My brain's figured all of it out.
I do that as well.
Someone I fancy likes my picture, click on the profile and like their last picture. My brain's figured it out, man.
We spoke about
I put up an obstacle and my brain's just went, I'll just go around that.
We said that last time we started screenshotting pictures
Well,
so we
all
could
the
look
time.
at the profile pictures.
Well, I've got about 1,000 more since then. Done it last night. Just private profile screenshots, zoom in. I can't tell. So bad, isn't it?
It's brutal, mate.
What the one thing I wanted to ask you, because I've been trying to be a lot more business orientated this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of just making content that I think is funny and stuff,
Yep.
I actually try to get clients and shit. Like you know, like fucking operate as a business,
Yeah.
and make money. See with your videos, it's very like lifestyle-y.
Yep.
Do you find you get inquiries still fine, or like do people inquire to work with you? Do you get
So
what I mean?
don't get as many inquiries.
that
Oh,
one,
sorry.
but-
I don't get as many
My face has to be in the
as
picture.
inquiries.
Seriously.
You could just imagine you just blocked.
Get out.
I don't get as many inquiries as what I did because I feel like social media for me has dropped off a tiny bit and stuff for that. I think I need to find a new kind of avenue in order to build up my views and stuff for that as much. But yeah, I did sign up with a
Business mentor.
business mentor, which
10K a month. In 6 weeks.
by the way, I'm not gonna lie, like the actual structure of what they give you is tremendous, but they do openly honestly tell you, like, if you're not gonna put in any work, you're not gonna get it. But if you did put in the work, this is how you're gonna do it. If I hadn't signed up with them, I wouldn't have had a fucking clue what I was doing, mate. Like, not one clue. Like, I thank them that they actually gave me the structure. The only pain in the arse is that when I went away to Thailand, I didn't save up. I did not save up a penny, mate. I was just like, I'll go manifest that. I'll be cool and all that.
Manifest it.
It'll come, all the money will come in, it'll be all right. That was the worst fucking
I
decision.
have savings.
They are in the bank. Like, it was the worst, mate. Like, I went there and literally it was, I was actually going to start giving people massages using that because I was struggling for money. I was just,
And whatever else.
whatever else they wanted, mate. So yeah, I actually had to stop the mentorship because I was rooked when I went abroad. Absolutely rooked, mate. To the case of like, he was, because I was like signed into an agreement, like a contract and stuff like that, and I was like, mate, I can't thingy. And he's like, well, you're signed into a contract and blah blah blah. And I was just like, oh. And then I sent him like a bill, and I'm like, here, look, this is how much I've got to pay when I get back. And he was like, we don't normally do this, but I'll let you and stuff for that. I'm a bit gutted actually because I really enjoyed it and stuff for that, and it helped you. But yeah, like the infrastructure that they gave you, mate.
Just a side note, by the way, I told a boy that that listens to the podcast to just, he'd overpaid for one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to say names. Any names.
Don't say names.
No names.
Let's call him Gordon.
No court cases. Gordon is his name. The mentorship was called 10K a month.
Right,
There's
okay.
probably one called that. It was called 12K a month. And one
Right.
called that. And I told him just stop paying it, like, because I don't think he was getting in out of it.
Okay.
And he did, and they took him to court, and it was like $5,000 he had to pay.
Did you help him pay that? Why not? You were the one that got him into trouble.
I said, don't listen to me though. I'll openly say stuff like that. Here, this is what I would do, but you don't do that. And he done it. Oh, I shouldn't laugh because Gordon will be listening to this probably.
Shit, and then he had to go and pay on that.
Yeah, they took him to court. I've heard loads of people say they'll take people to court, and then they obviously won't.
Well, in that case, my people's were good then because they just cancelled the contract and then that was it. I'm gutted, but mate, because like I say, I learned a lot and they constantly had classes every day for you to go on and watch and learn and stuff for that as well. They had sales training and stuff for that as well. So I'm a bit gutted that I had to get up and stuff for that. But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a clue.
I think I forgot how much because I had 2 coaches But the first year I had a coach and another coach, and then I also those got me into like circles of people that were started. So I was constantly talking to them and just figuring out what everyone else is doing, and then figured out if I'd done it on my own, I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
So I think you need that.
100%. You need
Otherwise, you don't have a clue.
No, you kind of need that guidance. By the way, see, leading on to that, because this is something that so obviously since the last time we spoke, right, I'd literally just become a PT and stuff like that. I was expecting the fucking heavens to open, mate, right? Just hundreds of clients coming on. I must help them get ripped and shredded and like change people's lives and stuff like that. Make hundreds of money, live in Malibu and all that. Mate, it's the complete opposite. You know that way you need...
Did I not tell... I would have warned you. That would not have.
A wee bit, but you warned Gordon as well, but and that went shit. So I don't know if I'm taking your advice.
Sorry, Gordon.
But it's the complete opposite, mate. I've had like I had a client come on with me, right? So come on, we done his call and he was like, "Hi, cool, we're going to sign up. Awesome. Let's get your Kickstart call sorted, right? Done the Kickstart call, cool. This is what your program's going to look like. This is what I need from you. Blah 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 blah." Never heard from him again.
I've had a few of them.
No, but still paid.
I think a few of mine have died.
He still paid for 3 months.
Aye, that happens.
I don't understand. Why are you still paying money but nothing's happening?
I reckon I've had about 10 of them in 3 years where they just pay and they don't ever speak to you again.
But people think it's good, but we don't like I don't want to just take people's money. Like I want to just help
it's
them.
more the constant. They're gonna message me at one point, and I'm gonna tell them they're gonna have to start coaching.
Yeah,
I've never really done. I've maybe refunded like 3 people in my life,
right?
But they all asked,
right?
I've never said no to someone, but I'll not refund them the full thing, and they've all been weapons. Do you know what I mean?
I bet.
It's never been someone that's like done it and then went, here, that wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. It's been someone that's done fuck all and then asked for some money back.
Yep.
So I've be like, here, well, I onboarded you, like, and I messaged you quite a lot. The mental stress of taking you on.
Literally,
do you know what I mean?
Pain in the arse.
Yeah, you're a pain in the arse. I'm definitely not giving you all your money for the stress you're causing me.
Yeah.
But I think now I would be a lot stricter on that. Like, I do it or don't do it, or like, that's it.
Yep.
Because it's not, we're a business. I'm fucking back living with my dad in View Park in a council estate. I'm not refunding you.
I'm not taking on
I'm driving my Ford Fiesta that was Manny's.
I'm not taking on like fucking space cadets and stuff like that. Like Doris and stuff like that. She's not getting brought on, man. Not at all. I need to lose this amount of weight by this certain time. Are you going to date her or else I get a refund? No, Doris, you're not getting brought on. That's not happening. Have you said no? Have you said no to somebody yet? Like, you're not taking them on?
Well, you're on 90% of the time. I've had cunts that say stuff to be like, here, I can't cook at all. Like, I live off microwave meals. I don't know how to switch on the toaster. How much is your coaching? I'm like, fucking, I don't coach. I don't exist. And you should never speak to me again. You can't turn on your toaster. What chance did it have? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not teaching 5-year-olds. That sounds very harsh, but most of I'd say over the last year, the inquiries I get are a million times better. The clients I get are a million times better.
Yep.
And I think if you say you have like 30 clients, at least like 3 or 4 of them will be probably quite hard work. If you're talking about fat loss.
Yep.
And also, if you're not talking about fat loss, you're going to struggle to get clients in general because 90% of the people that want a PT is going to be fat loss. So it's like, you can't really win that way. Do you know what I mean? You can't have this perfect roster of perfect clients. It's just not going to exist because that perfect roster of perfect clients don't use PTs.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
You're very real I was just thinking of your content and stuff for that because I seen an Australian guy and he always calls everybody cunts. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
You remind me of him for some weird reason. I don't know why. You're very real. Not in a good way, but not in a bad way. I'm not calling you a cunt. Just saying.
I don't think I'm like that.
Because like this is what I was going to say, right? Because this was something I was going to ask you.
I think always like people that aren't Scottish say that to me, and I'm like, I think you just get the accent mixed up.
No, I think you're very not even the accent. I just mean you're very to the point. It's just like, don't be a fucking idiot, don't listen to that, don't do this and stuff like that. Whereas I've got like other PTs and stuff like that on my social media feed, it's like, yeah, do this, do that, and you just seem a bit fake, whereas you're a bit real on
Michael called me out the other day because I made like 3 videos in a row where I was purposely fucking having a go at people.
Right.
I fucking hate the industry. I do. I hate most of the shit that gets spouted in it. And I hate the idea of like, so you've bought me this, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to eat these because I've got fat and I'm doing like an 8 or 10 week cut. And if I eat 2 of them, I know I'm going to be thinking about food all day because it won't fill me up. Whereas, or I could eat 2 of them, but what a PT will do is they'll video themselves eating the 2 and be like balance, and everything else they eat that day will be like the most filling, nutritious food they can possibly eat because they know they've ate like 2 of them and they're cutting, but they'll only video them eating them 2. Do you get what I mean? And it's just shite. And like the whole, so I do think some of the message is good because I used to bang on about not leaving out food you love and stuff, which I do. Like, see if I crave like an ice cream, which I probably will this week. I'm starting to already, like I've avoided stuff like that quite well. I'm gonna have a craving at one point. I'll probably get an ice cream.
Tells me like, there you go.
Please get this away from me. Anyway, they're timeouts, by the way, if you're an audio listener, which I've not had in years, so I'm gonna have one. Give me that fucking right now. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought with this fucking.
Do you know what? I'll tell you. In fact, no, because we've got that. Would switch subjects. So continue.
So I don't like how untransparent, is that a word?
Yeah.
Fucking yes. Usually it's wrong.
If it's not, it is now.
And then when you get clients come on, right, a lot of them have seen these videos. Now, in general, people are just going to take something the way they want to take it. So they'll see a video like that. Doesn't matter if you give them the perfect message. They'll find a way to change that into their own message that they want to hear. But you'll see so many clients come on and say they're on, say you give them 1,800 calories, like 1,800 calories will be like chocolate and shit. And you're like, they'll be like, oh, like, don't leave out food I love. And I'm like, yeah, but don't have 4 arrows. Have 1. Do you know what I mean? That's the message I'm trying to portray because I think it goes too far.
Because I feel maybe that's some of the stuff I've not watched, but for me, you're very real and stuff like that in terms of the way you speak. Because what I was going to ask, do you feel like the type of clientele? No, I was going to say.
Sorry.
Do you feel that the clientele that you get, like, are real as well? Like they know that you're no, it's like you're no full of bullshit and stuff like that. Like they know what they get with you.
I'll speak in between my bites.
Okay.
I purposely changed what I was doing about 2 years ago.
Right.
Because I was like, I came across too empathetic. And I think you need to be empathetic as a fat loss coach, but I was pretty much saying everything's all right and never give up. Good message. But I was pretty much saying like every single time you like overeat and your weight goes up by like 5 pounds, then just don't worry about it. But then at the same time, that means everyone just still overeats at the weekend, sees their weight go up, and then they just yo-yo from the same. They never lose weight because they just keep fucking it up at the weekend. So try to find more a middle ground, because you do find the content you put out drives the clients you get. So I do think over the last 2 years, my clients have got way better every year. I feel like this year is the best my clients have got because I'm being a bit more brutal, but I'm actually being more real of how it actually is and how people like me and you actually live. And I don't live that. I'm not that rigid. I'm just more rigid than you, and I'm nowhere near as rigid as a bodybuilder. There's bodybuilder lifestyle than your lifestyle, and I'm closer to you than I am a bodybuilder, but I'm still a good bit more rigid than you, and that's why I don't get fat again. And that's why I don't not miss gym sessions. Do you know what I mean? Or I miss one and then I don't miss the next one.
Aye, 100%. I'm the exact same as you. Like the majority of the food like in my house that like I eat is pretty healthy. But see, when I go to my mum's, mate, like I'll rattle 6 of them in my mum's. Like literally. But like I say, the majority like my food during the week is super healthy. I'm still exercising like 5 or 6 times a week and stuff like that as well. So I think a lot of people will rattle 5 or 6 of them and then miss a gym session or 2 like during the week and stuff like that. But there was one big thing I found since I started coaching. People feel that because they've paid money to you that they're going to start losing weight, and I'm just like, no, like I'm here to help guide you and hold your hand along the way and stuff like that, but you still need to put work in. And I think a lot of people when they come on board, or I've had a couple at least anyway, think that they don't need to work hard. And I'm like, what do you think this is about? You just pay money and then you lose weight? That's not how it works. Like I can show you the structure and the guideline how to get there, but it's still going to be. I think
these are things you get better at the longer you do it.
Yeah.
Because the more you deal with that sort of thing, you're what, a year in?
Oh, maybe? I'm still fucking. Yeah. I'm still new and I'm still clueless.
I give people those sort of spiels before they come on as well, before they've even paid money. Like I had literally my latest client. I won't say her name. I should probably read out the text. No, that's too far. Is that too far?
Let's call her Sandra.
She said something, and I was like, "Here, that's not how it works." She went, and I, to be honest, this will be a good test, but I'm in fact not going to say the name because she's coming on with me next week. Okay. If I say such and such and it doesn't go well, it looks bad on me. Anyway, she said something like, "By the way, I'm the type of person that like 25% of the time I'm not going to go to the gym, or I don't want to go to the gym, and as soon as it's sunny I don't want to do it." And I ripped her a wee bit. I was like, "Here, don't pay for coaching then, because I'm not going to change it. I'm literally not going to change anything you've just said, and unless you actually want to do it, like I don't need." I was like, "I'm not salesy at all. I don't need your money." I didn't say that. That sounds cunty.
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm not salesy. Like, listen, if you don't want to do it, fine. But I need you to be like, I'm gonna fucking do it. Not I'm 25% of the time I'm gonna do it. I don't give a fuck about statements like that." And then she was like, "No, you're right. I'm gonna do it." And I was like,
"Of course you are. Why did you sign up in the first place? You obviously had a goal, but now you're telling me you don't want to train and stuff like that."
Yeah. So I was like, "Right, fair." But I'm pretty blunt about stuff like this at the start, because people hate hearing it, right? But if we take people on like that, our lives are shit.
100%.
It's so stressful.
100%.
So I actually give no offense to anyone that's a potential client, but I give a fuck about my life more than yours. Yes. Otherwise, I'm not going to give a good service to the people that actually want to, because I have clients that want to get to their goals, or clients that want to lose fat, and they will take on board what I'm saying. So why would I have ones that don't want to?
Exactly.
Shite.
It's mad, but like you say, like I'm in my first year, and like that was the same when I was dancing. Like I admit, like when you first start something, like you're shite and it's new, but at the same time you're just absorbing absolutely everything. But like within the last year, mate, it's been wild, some of the stuff that you learn and stuff like that. People used to always think, "Oh man, you look dead fit. That must mean you're a good PT." That doesn't mean fuck all, mate. Absolutely not one thing. It's
humbling, isn't it?
Oh, massively humbling. Massively humbling.
Yeah, I only feel like I'm getting good at it now.
How long you been in?
It's coming up my third year. Like, as in I'm going into my third year. So I've done 3. So coming into my 4th year? Can't count, mate.
3 or 4.
I started July 2020.
How long did you feel clueless for?
Oh.
Because I'm still in that vibe right now.
Well, I don't know if I've said this before, right? But see, within 4 months, I had like 150,000 followers on TikTok, and people would be tagging me, like asking me advice on stuff, or like people would put up like this new information about a study or whatever, and Gavin Mckinney, like, "You need to do a video on this. What's your thoughts?" I'm like, "Look, I'll need to go and read up quite a lot about this." Do you know what I mean? So, and I don't know how that. I do know how it happened. That nobody else was on TikTok really.
Aye.
I went on TikTok, but like as in fitness wise. So I just fucking stumbled onto TikTok, and then like one video got me like 50,000 followers. And then before I knew it, it was fucking like people were like, I'd go into my auntie's house and like she'd be like, "Everyone at work's eating Kit Kats because you said they're all right." Like all my auntie's a social worker. So everyone in the social work scene and my auntie's like North Lanarkshire were all watching my videos. And it's fucking, it was a bit traumatizing. I went on Twitter the day after I gained like fucking mad amounts of followers. Right. And I was like, right, I've said some dumb shit, like about a lot of things over the last few years. There'll be a lot on Twitter. The last thing I wrote was, "Harry Maguire is a Mongol."
Yeah, it's a bit of a clown, but let's be honest.
That was it. Full stop. And I was like, I'm going to delete Twitter. But yeah, because all I spoke about was fat loss, because that's all I knew. Because I'd been fat all my childhood, lost weight. To be fair, I was well more researched in nutrition and weight loss. But I think there's a difference between you being researched and knowing how to do it for yourself and coaching other people. Yeah. But to be fair, I was very researched in my own body and just the general research on fat loss and stuff. I knew all of the names of people that are doing studies and shit. So that's all I spoke about. I also knew all the principles of like getting better in the gym, but I was like a twig. Yeah. So that's what I've been spending the last 2 years. Like I've been on a fucking eternal bulk for the last 2 years. I've got fat again, but but that was another thing that I was like, I need to be strong and know how to get strong if I'm going to be a PT as well. So that stressed me out because although people still tell me I look like shit, but that doesn't really bother me.
You look good, don't doubt yourself, mate.
I know, but that did bother me more when I was a twig. As in just like, this guy doesn't know how to build muscle.
Yep.
So I went and, even though I knew how to do it, you still do it until you do it properly with clients and yourself, you don't know as much.
Yeah.
So I've just treated it as a constant. But yeah, so your question, yes, it was very stressful. Like constantly stressed about not knowing what I was talking about.
I'm glad you said that because like sometimes like I'll be on lives, right, and then people will be like you just see that there's a question there and you shite yourself because you're like, if I read that and I don't know the answer to that, I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot and stuff like that. But I'm quite open and honest. Like if I don't know the answer to that, I'll tell the person. I'll just say go and ask Dr. Google or something like that. They'll be able to tell you and stuff. But it's very much still very beginnerish. But one thing I've learned, and I learned this through mentorship as well, you only need to know one chapter more than the person. Do you know what I mean? So a client coming on and stuff like that, as long as you understand 1 or 2 chapters more than what they do, then you can give them the advice they need and stuff like that as well. But been reading a bunch of books. I read that, or reading that Forever, Fat Loss Forever by Lane Norton.
Yeah. I was about to don't know why I was about to mention him, but he just said, I think it was on James Smith's podcast, and he was like, in this industry, if you want, because you see so many people like blowing up here or there. People must have seen me blowing up that PT'd for like 4 years and be like, fuck me, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. And I knew that as well. It stressed me out. But he's just like, outlast everyone and just keep, you don't need to build it rapid. You don't need to have 50 clients rapid. Just keep learning and building.
100%.
I had Fat Loss Forever. I've not read it, but I've read a lot of his stuff or watched a lot of his stuff.
It's good. It's something that's too in depth for me. Like it just goes way over my head. But I'll take in what I can take in and stuff like that. But taking that back to your original question way back, we were talking about my lifestyle content and stuff like that. I think that's predominantly what I enjoy doing, and I feel like it's a bit different and stuff like that as well. Like I feel like I see, and there's nothing wrong with this, I just don't want to fall into the trap. There's a lot of PTs add up the same type of content and stuff like that, and I don't want to get drawn into that. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it, but like I feel as if I have an avenue just now and I can use it. So I feel like that's why I do the lifestyle stuff, and I enjoy making content not more than fitness. Like I enjoy fitness, right, but I love making content, mate. Like I'm actually starting to get into storytelling, and this is a question I was going to ask you at the bench earlier on, right? Because I feel like when you put up your content, you tell a story. You're real about it as well, and this is why you're different from a lot of PTs, because I get
Don't make my head any bigger.
No, mate. No, this is me being genuinely honest. And this is my question. When you talk about a certain subject or genre and blah, 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 I'm actually listening because I feel like you're taking us on a story. Do you purposely mean that? Do you understand that? Did you research that? Like, because now there's always that three axis structure and stuff like that. There's the beginning, the middle, and the end of a story and stuff like that. Do you feel like you go through that, or do you just say what's on your mind?
Combination of knowing I'm doing it and also naturally do it. I think I naturally tell stories all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Like only child syndrome. All I could do was fucking tell stories about it. Do you know what I mean? I've also, like you, made videos all my life with freestyle and stuff like that. So I naturally enjoy making content. My brain actually breaks with these, like, you're saying you don't want to fall into that trap.
Yep.
My brain breaks in that trap because I know I need to do it, but I hate reels. Like I hate fitness reels. I don't hate like exercise tutorials, but I hate pretty much 90% of the fitness content or the PT content out there. So yeah, I prefer like telling stories and stuff. And my best videos are like if I have a tiny script, but like I don't actually use the script that much, and I just go off in tangents of where my brain goes at the time. And I think what I do, I just couldn't. Basically in Australia, the podcast studios were like 500 quid. Like 3 or 4 times as much as doing it here.
Wow.
So I want to do podcasting more because I think my personality suits this better.
Aye.
Also, you mentioned it, but I've been So I was on another boy's podcast and he was talking about ADHD
Mm-hmm.
and he got diagnosed. His name's Sylvester. He's been on here. Sylvester Sweeney. Do you know who that is?
I remember seeing the name. I don't know if I watched the video.
But he got diagnosed with ADHD and he said he was watching me the full interview and going, I reckon like you might be worth getting diagnosed. So I went back and listened to a podcast. Took her 12 minutes to start telling me the symptoms of ADHD, which dumb I'm not in already. I was walking about the fucking scheme going, fucking hurry up and tell me what these symptoms are.
Yep.
And then he was like, you need to do a 500 word questionnaire. And I was like, just leave that. I've got ADHD. Forget that. Leave that. Just click yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you have it?
Oh, 100%. I can see that you had it as well.
What?
People that get ADHD. Well, wait. Okay, so this is.
Well, no, but I don't want to go because everyone's saying they have it as well.
Yeah.
So I don't. Do you know what I mean? Is it the new dyslexic?
I was going to say that. Is it like a new thing? But like one of the kids I used to teach, her mum actually said, she's like, you realise you're on the spectrum, didn't you? I was like,
ADHD spectrum.
I was like, pretty much. Like I'm the same as you. Like I can't watch stuff and like see when I'm watching a YouTube video, mate, I put it on 2 times the speed to watch it. So I get heavy bored and I'm just like going to get to the point.
Yeah, I've only recently discovered like ×2 and all that. Oh, it's the best.
I used to listen to audiobooks in 3 times the speed.
That's too much.
No, honestly, right. I used to have the book in front of me, right? I'd buy the book and I'd buy the audio, right, so that I could rattle through the book in like 2 or 3 days, and I would just listen to it and just read it.
I feel like that's why I burn out with like reels and stuff though, because see, I smashed reels for like 2.5 months, grew my phone, and then I went on holiday, came back, so I wasn't burnt out work wise at all. I'd been away for 6 days camping. I hadn't looked at my phone at all.
Yep.
I came back and was like, I'm burnt out. Well, definitely wasn't, but it was the thought because I could do my client work and all that fine, but as soon as I went to like switch a camera on and do a reel, I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was like a massive fog in my head. And I get feelings like that quite a lot. Like I couldn't last in any job.
No.
Like I couldn't do I've done bartending was only one. And the only reason I could do it was because I could bam people up. I wasn't like restricted. Do you know what I mean? I could just walk about fucking like if the bar was, or even if the bar was busy, I would just fucking collect glasses and wind people up. Do you know what I mean? I was like, look, I could be set loose and just do what I want. But like the call center one where I was on the phone all the time and like they were trying to get me to take as little rest in between calls as possible.
Right.
I was like, my brain is actually breaking. There was a full-on dent in the bathroom, mate, and it used to freak me out because every time I went in and seen the dent on the disabled bathroom wall, it would remind me of the time I headbutted the wall.
See, you
I
just
fucking hated that call center, mate. I was just set up so annoyingly as well. There was like, it was as if they set it up to trigger me. Like the just this.
Really, just for you coming in the door.
You had to know like your name, address, and like this reference number for your stocks, and the reference number was something you'd got the very first time you bought the stocks, and 1 letter to your house one time. So nobody knew the reference number, so I couldn't tell them anything about the stocks. So every call was just like me asking if they had the reference number and them just losing the plot and then me losing the plot. Horrible, man.
See, you just saying like you were at the one you enjoyed was the bar and the bam up. Did I tell you about the story when I was in college? And so I used to teach hip hop at the dance college and stuff like that, right? And I get pulled into the office by the director. She was like, Christopher, I've got something important. I need a couple of students have approached us and stuff like that. And they says that you just keep rinsing them in class and they're feeling a wee bit insecure and stuff like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you just keep rinsing them about their hip hop ability. And I'm like, it's garbage, but it's going to get better, isn't it? And she was like, I know, but you can't say that to the students. And I'm like, how no? It's realism. I'm just trying to tell them, like, listen, you're heavy shite, but you might actually be decent if you actually practice and stuff like that. Because they would walk into the studio, they'd be doing the warm up, and I'm like, you've been practicing, haven't you? No, you've not. Awful. You look the exact same as you looked last week. Like, what are you doing with your life? Are you trying to make it as a dancer, or what's happening? I've been practicing. No, you've not. You've got worse. I don't know how you went backwards. I don't know how anybody possibly gets worse after I've showed them a drill, like literally. I get told to like calm it down a wee bit with the slaughtering. Obviously, I didn't listen, and as soon as we went back in, I just roasted them even more.
Do you do that to your clients?
We'll do it to my.
Have you been on the timeouts?
fully, like, I done a check-in video not that long ago, and I was like, right, you wee gimp, let's have a look at your shite here. Oh my God, you've been overeating, but that's not too bad, that's all right. She's like, you still look like a twig butt, right? Because she's heavy skinny and she was trying to put on a bit of weight. Love this last 8 bits, literally.
You're taking that. See if people don't know you though, that sounds like you're being an arsehole there. But no, I think you do that in a really piss-takey way.
Yeah, I build that.
I'm only saying that to save your back because you sounded like a cunt there, and I know you're not being a cunt.
I build that rapport with my clients.
You don't. That's not the first check-in. That's like someone that you know for like the last like 4 months.
No. That was somebody I knew for about 4 weeks.
All right, don't let me cover your back then.
We just built up like this absolute rapport, right? And she does Muay Thai as well, and she's like, I'm going to smash your face when I see you. And I was like, there's absolutely no chance of that because I'd pick you up with one horn because you weigh about 50 kilograms and I'm about 85. Anyway, let's get back to you. Try to put on a wee bit of muscle, and then I said, what was the line? In fact, she used the line. She sent me a picture of Mike Wazowski. The fucking the teddy bear. What's the movie where they make the Waynes laugh and it goes in the container? And
I don't watch films.
No Monsters.
Monsters Inc.
No, is it?
That's my only. That's the one I had. That was it.
Oh, we're going absolutely nowhere. It's the wee green bubble eye looking guy with the wee twig legs.
That's Monsters Inc.
Is it? Is that what it is? Right, okay, sorry, let's go back. Monsters Inc.
This is a good chat.
And that's what she was calling herself, and that's what I called her every single time. Every time we spoke and stuff like that, and she loved it. But every time I'd send like a check-in video like that, she would absolutely love it, and then she'd hit back with a banter.
Fair.
She's like, your face is looking fat these days, and I'm like, cheers, thanks so much, really appreciate it.
It is good when you get clients that are like that as well. That can give you a good bit of back and forth and just slagging. I've found with online coaching, loads of it's not ideal for my personality as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I went back to the floor last year. And that's why my ideal scenario, but you're constantly fucking thinking like the grass is greener on some sort of side, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a bit of like your online clients and then being able to coach them in the gym every now and then. I don't want to go back to the gym floor full time because that's also knackering.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a good few in-person clients last year that were fucking hilarious. I won't name her name. I can't remember if I said this in a podcast, but if she listened to it, she would know. I couldn't drive last year, so I was getting that was so humbling as well. Like fucking, I think people thought I was doing way better than what I was because of the falling or whatever, but I didn't have a clue what I was doing business wise. I was getting the 2:40 bus at 6 a.m. every day to go to the 2:40, mate, goes through like Wishaw, Motherwell, Bells Hill. There isn't a like semi-detached house on the route. So getting on that at 6 a.m. every day to work in a gym in Quarantine, and I'm walking up, it's fucking like pitch black, and then somebody just gets out the back of a van round the back of the gym. But I walk around the back of the gym for the route, like I don't go in the front. And then she was like 150 meters away, and I was like, I'm not gonna say it. We'll just say I'll just say it was Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, was that Nicole? My first client of the day. And then like as I got a bit closer and she's like running up the stairs, I was like, that's her. And then I was like, right, might not be her. And I was like, if I go in the gym, she comes out the toilet, because she would have got in there before me. I was like, that's definitely her.
Right.
And then I was getting her warmed up, getting her a deadlift. She goes to deadlift, and I was like, who was in the van? She was fucking mortified. And honestly, I had a full session with her where she done nothing. Every time she went and done a set, I was just like, let's talk about this more. Do you know what I mean? She'd obviously just been out the night before and went back with some random guy. And then got dropped off at the gym. She was the best client ever. She's still at it. I had her for about 8 months in person or whatever.
Brilliant.
Still speak to her. Proper like East End girl, like sound as fuck, and she must have turned up to about 8. She wasn't that big a drinker, but every time she chose to drink was the day before a 6 a.m, 7 a.m. session, and she was fully steaming a few times.
That's because she had to face you, mate. That's what it was. She was like, I can't fucking face him again without a drink, man.
Dude, like I done some sessions with her where it was 1 or 2, so there was 2 of them.
Right.
And like I'd look at her and she'd be doing her Romanian deadlift, and I was like, that's a bit wonky, Daniel. Oh fuck.
You're sending
done that the last time I told the story about her. I just got her name out.
49.20, mate.
Thank you. So Nicole, yeah.
You're sending your clients to drink. They're trying to help.
Oh, it was so funny. She walked into the side of a squat rack one time as well, and she just had a like golf ball coming out her forehead. I was like, "Can you just put them away?" And then she came back, and I was like, "Why is there a golf ball coming out your forehead?" And she'd walked into the side of a squat rack. So I miss stuff. You don't get humor online with WhatsApps. You can't like
No.
have proper
No.
humor with people. So
No.
I do miss that. And like my personality is like that. I way prefer in person.
In
shit.
person. I think I'm the same. I just bring on a client that's pretty much like me. He's got ADHD, he's fucking mental and stuff like that. And,
Are you going to try to get diagnosed for that now?
I kind of already know, but I might for a laugh one time. Just for a bit of banter.
I don't think I'll find it that funny.
No.
Well, questionnaires and shit, man. My worst nightmare.
I might just get somebody else to fill it in for me. No, you don't have it.
Aye, you're
Oh,
fine.
that's tremendous. But I took a client on, right, and he's exact same as me, get ADHD and stuff like that. He's like, and he messaged me on Instagram the other day. He's like, mate, just had a bit of a fucking belter. And I was like, what? He's like, so I walked out to you in the gym and started talking to you. I was like, what? He was like, well, I thought it was you. And I'm having conversation and being like, asking him questions about my program and stuff like that. And the guy just looked at me and went, mate, I'm not who you think I am. And then he went, are you no Chris? He was like, no, mate. And I was like, you tell me I was not a good looking guy in pure gym and stuff like that. But he ended up going up speaking to somebody who thought was me, but absolutely wasn't me. And he says, mate, that was his first ever training session at the gym because you just started the gym after like a year out, and he thought he was talking to me in the gym, mate. And I'm like, I feel so sorry for you because you must feel like a pure spanner now, legit. He was like, aye, mate, I'm just trying to avoid that situation every time now when I see him.
Have you met many of your clients in person?
Hey, no, actually, I feel like I have, but no, I haven't. I'll meet him soon, but because I'm going back to pure gym to train as well. Because I've been training at a leisure centre recently, but it's heavy. It's
I hate pure gym. I'm in pure gym in Motherwell. It's the worst place I've ever been in my life.
I done a gym vlog in Motherwell
Oh, shite.
with a guy called Jay, who was fucking mental.
Was he?
Oh my days, mate. I thought I was quick with the chat. This guy was on another, mate, I had to block everything that we spoke about because it was too extreme.
Is he from Motherwell?
Yes.
I'll explain it.
Like, literally, like such a genuine guy, but I had to block out all the material that we spoke about because everything he spoke was just, mate, I had to get banned, man. He's like, send it to me, I'll put it on my TikTok. He is banned on TikTok.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, nah, mate, that's not happening.
How was Asia?
Asia.
Well, that's a pure vague question.
I was about to say that. Asia's a big place.
I know you wrote you've got a mad list there about, it looks like about 80 different things that happened there. So obviously I don't want to go through all of that, but you hadn't been traveling before, had you?
No.
So like, you obviously went a bit older than that. Like I went at like 22.
Yeah.
And then you went at what, 36?
Yeah.
How did you find it, like being a bit older and stuff as well?
Mate, that was life changing. I always thought I wanted to stay in Scotland my whole life. But I'd only ever been away for like 2 weeks a week, like to Spain, Greece, blah, blah, blah. But that was a life changing. Like, I don't know if I want to stay in Scotland anymore after like being away for that long. Like, I thought Scottish people were nice as well. And we are to an extent. But people in Thailand are on next level, mate. Like, I remember coming back off the plane and walking to Asda and then getting something to eat. And you know how, like, everybody in Thailand are always like, thank you. And I remember somebody serving me at the counter and I was like, cheers, thanks so much. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not in Thailand anymore. Fully bowing to people and Asda like that, yeah. But, mate, the nicest people. The weather was phenomenal. Those boat trips and stuff like that, like you go on. Maya Bay's an absolute fucking riot. I didn't like Maya Bay. It's pure shit.
Everyone says that. I had a
mate.
great time, but I was also fucking off my face. Fucking class.
Is that why you enjoyed it so much?
And the only part I didn't enjoy was snorkeling. That's my least favourite thing on the planet. We got off the boat and they're like, let's snorkel with these fishes, and I looked down and I was like, man, that's enough. Get me back in the boat. Really? I can't breathe in snorkels. I think my face is too like wide or something. Water always gets in. Tried to free dive on when I was we travelled up Australia. My mate is one of those people. See, he had a 4-wheel drive Jeep, and honestly, if you want to do anything, he could have went in his car and we could have done it after. You want to go like clay pigeon shooting? He's got something in there. Want to go fucking spear fishing? He's got stuff in there. It's mad, mate. And he whipped out 2 wetsuits and he's like, we'll go free diving today. And I was like, what's free diving? I only know the diving. What's the free part mean? And next thing I know, I'm in a wetsuit. I've got fucking stones around me and all that. And flippers. Or what do you call it? Like flippers. And I can't swim with flippers on. He was like, just stand up. And I was like, the flippers were taking me everywhere. I was like, I can do it. And that is the most stressed I've ever been. I ripped all the stuff off and just swam back. I was like,
Really?
I can't. And I'm a good swimmer. But with all that stuff on, it too much for me. You couldn't breathe and all that.
Mate, see, when you were talking about the snorkeling and stuff like that, I remember when we got to the PP Islands and we went out, we got to the first stop, and I can't remember what the first stop was, but so the guys gave us a wee snorkeling gear, and he's like, see if you can see any sharks, obviously in his Thai accent, and I'm like, fucking sharks, there's no sharks out here, fucking idiot, and I also want to be getting in the water, right? So I went in, started swimming out a wee bit, and I've looked down, and I've seen 2 baby sharks, and I'm like, oh wow, there's actual sharks here. In fact, hold on a minute. If I'm seeing baby sharks, then there's a potential I'm going to see other sharks. So you know that we start to panic a wee bit. Like, I'm just like, I've seen Jaws, I've seen the movies. They don't end well for nobody. Now, there's hundreds of people in the water and stuff for that, right? And then I hear this like instructor be like, everybody, shark. And I'm like, mate, I put my head under the water and like I've looked and it's like a 6-foot shark, like down the bottom, just swimming. I didn't know what to do, mate. I didn't know if I should like
Stay still.
If I should be like, if I should panic, if I should be happy. Like, it was the weirdest surreal feeling ever.
Why on earth would you be happy?
Because like you get to see a shark up close like that.
Happily will never see a shark. Happily die on my deathbed knowing that I've never been anywhere near a shark.
But these people are chasing after the shark. Like, they were all swimming towards it. And I'm just like, the only reason why I felt reasonably safe is because there was 30 other people. It must have been about 25, 30 people.
The 1 in 30 chance you get bit.
I'm just like, surely I'm not getting eaten first. Like, surely. But these were like blacktail sharks that seemingly don't eat people and stuff for that. So, but that was such a surreal feeling, mate. Seeing a shark, I was just like, wow. Even to this day, as we speak about it, I still can't believe I actually seen a shark. It was wild.
Where was your favourite place? Was it just Thailand you done then?
Yeah, so we just went to, so that was a bad thing. We stayed in Krabi because my friend Laura that I went with was still working at the time. So
you had to have a base. That's what Bali was like for me. We had to stay in the same place.
So that, and where we stayed in Krabi, we didn't stay at Al Nang where it was busy. We stayed about 20 minute drive from it. So that was a bit shite because it was a bit too quiet for me and we didn't really meet many people. I've got a story for you. Hold on a minute. Here's a story for you. Right. Goes down to the pool one day, right? And across the water, right, there's a red-headed chick who is unbelievable, right?
I'm going to say a red-headed shark.
Tremendous red. She is a shark. That's what she was, an absolute shark, right? So, anyway, I goes back into the room, right? I think it was like the next day or something, swiping Tinder. Oh, hi, red-headed chick. Swipe, right? So then we match, right? And then she thought Laura was my girlfriend and stuff at the time. And I'm like, no, just my pal and stuff. And she's like, all right, okay. So we starts talking, right? And everything's going all right and stuff for that and blah, blah, blah. I think we didn't meet up for a coffee at that time, right? But we were chatting for about 2 days, voice noting and blah, 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 right? And then all of a sudden she just stops talking to me. And I'm just like, that's weird. Like, I thought we were getting on pretty well and stuff for that. And I said to Laura, I was like, Laura, I'm going to go canoe. Canoe? Aye, is that what I'm talking about? Aye, canoe. So I'm going to go.
I don't know what that could be. That could be anything, mate.
Kayaking, that's what I was looking for. That's why I was like, it's no canoeing.
That's a wee jig, I think. That's line dancing.
So I was like, I'm going to go kayaking tomorrow, right? And then she was like, oh, I can't go, I've got work. And I was like, right, I tell you what. I was like, I'll put my ego aside and I'll message the red-headed chick. So I messaged her, I was like, listen, I'm going kayaking at this place tomorrow. It's about 45 minutes away on a scooter, blah, blah. I was like, you're welcome to come, right? So she patched me and I was like, cool, fuck you. That's fine then, right? Obviously, ego takes a bit of a hit. So gets to the morning, I gets on the scooter 45 minutes away, jumps in early morning. So I'm like the first there and I was like, where did I go? And he was like, aye, down there and run that mountain. I was like, ooh, that's like open water. I've already seen sharks and stuff for that. I don't know if I want to be doing that. But anyway, I followed, right, went round and I went through these wee tree bits and it's amazing stuff for that, right? And then I see another boat coming, right? And I'm just like, oh, there's the first people I've seen. So we get closer and it's like 2 people. And I was like, all right. And I get closer and it's a guy and a girl, right? And I'm like, oh, shit. Get closer. Who is it? It's her what's the actual chances of it being her with another dude, right? And I'm just like, ego's really taking a bit of a hit.
Was he good
Like, he was as good as me? No, he was all right. He was decent, but good looking guy, I give him that, right? But your old dad was in good shape for going to Thailand, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm just like, I smell, she's like, oh, hi. And I'm like, hi. Oh my God. Like, and then she's like, I heard her as she went past, she's like, oh, that's a guy from my condo, from my apartment. I'm like, fuck you, little bitch. Right. So anyway, then
we talked for a while whilst you're in the canoe.
No, in the kayak, right? So we're kayaking out, and she's like, we're going past each other, so it wasn't even like we stopped and stuff like that, right? So anyway, as I'm like, I finished the rest of it off. It was like another half an hour or something after that. I was like, I can't believe that bitch fucking ignored me for that guy and stuff like that. So I puts my kayak in, gets on my scooter, right? And I drive 10 minutes, and there's like this restaurant, mate. It's like unbelievable. You need to pay a wee money, and you get a taxi to the top of the mountain and blah, blah, blah. Right? Aye, a wee taxi, right?
Pay a wee money.
So pay your wee money. Frothing me. So I pay my money, and like on the way there, I was just like, do you know what? That bitch missed out on a good time and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I keep using the word bitch because she's such a nice lassie. So I pays my money, right? Who turns up? Day 2. Turns up, right? So this taxi, it's like one of those wee things where you sit in the back, it's like the seats that line here, so a couple of people and stuff. We had to sit in the same taxi. She sat across from me, so I'm sitting across from her, like me and you're the new talking, right? While he's sitting there, and I'm just like, this is so weird. We got up to the restaurant. Who did she sit me next to, mate? Who did they sit me next to? Right them. I heard their whole date. I heard their whole conversation, mate, and I'm just like, this is the worst ever, man. But yeah, so eventually I left, and that was that. Spoke to her the next day, and she invited me out with her and one of her pals, and she wasn't on a date with that guy, and blah blah blah. And then
did you go?
Huh?
Did you go?
No, did I fuck? My
Good
ego
stuff.
took a
Also,
hit.
fuck going out with her, mate.
Exactly, but then I ended up hooking up with her a couple of days later. So
The shagger persists.
The whole thing was weird, mate, because like, I don't know if that was a date or whatever, or if I just get thingies in my settings or whatever, and blah blah.
What was it like shagging a shark?
Shagging a what?
Shark.
It was tremendous. It turned out that she was a pleasure educator.
What'd you learn?
A fucking ton.
Did you?
Oh my God, ridiculous. I remember just.
Can you teach me? I want notes.
I just remember. Sorry, I'm trying my best not to laugh here. I just remember this. We were sitting on the bed, looking at specific objects, discussing about it in terms of what's the best avenue and direction and blah blah blah.
What are the objects?
And it was.
Listen, slow down. You're not a novice. Get on.
It was such a surreal feeling. Like after we took up and stuff like that, it was a bunch of fun. And then she just sitting there being like, yeah, this side here and go that way and through this. And I'm like, I knew that bitch. She's like, but if you go this way, and I was like,
That's what a class.
Mate. So she, that's exactly what it is right there.
In the arse.
But she was like, she was going through some stuff. But such a nice lassie and stuff like that.
I killed a cat in Thailand.
Did you actually?
Aye. Committed suicide when I was on my moped. I spent all day. We tried to, I think it was after PP. Was it something like Koh Rong or something like that? Was that a place? Koh something. Koh something. It wasn't Koh Samui or one of those. It was
Koh's everywhere.
Nah, fucking full of Kohs. It was one of the lesser known Kohs.
Right.
And we went there because we were trying not to spend money. Because I went to Thailand. I done 2 months in Asian for the first 2 weeks. I just got blitzed in Thailand. And Thailand's not actually that cheap when you go to those, like the more regular places.
Exactly.
Like
That's
and
what
all
I
that.
thought.
I was like, I pay less for a pint back home.
Yes.
And so I looked at my bank account and I was like, oh, that's considerably lower than what I thought it was going to be. So I was like, we have to do like a 3 or 4 day sabbatical and not drink. And the only thing to do in the place we were in was go to a cat and dog rescue home where it was just full of like disabled cats and dogs. And you go around walking dog puppies with like 3 legs and all this. Traumatizing experience. Like genuinely like, but also like opens your heart and you're like, fuck, I might go home and take a amputee dog. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of way. Like you feel really touched. And anyway, we got on I had donated to the cause. I was like, yeah, that's fucking great what you do here. You know, if there's 15 quid. And I bought a coffee as well, and they're like, that goes to the cause. And I was like, listen, I'll be back. Get on my moped home, fucking cat runs in front of my moped, and fucking clean it out, man. And I was at the back. There was 5 of us. I was at the back, and I honestly we were going back to the hotel, and I had my head in my hands the full time like this. And they were like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I creamed a cat.
Creamed that cat, splattered that bad boy.
And they were like, shut up. Like, after what we'd just done, they were like, you're talking pish. And like, my hands were shaking and all that. And like, one of the other boys was like, look at the stain. He looks as if he's about to have a mental breakdown. It's like, I don't think he's making it up. And they were like, should we go back and see if it's alive? And I was like, it's definitely dead. And the same thing happened to me. We drove from Melbourne to Darwin, and that was like 4,500 kilometers. I burnt the clutch out on the second day. So we were driving from the equivalent of Glasgow to Syria. That's the length that we're going. And we got to about London, and I burnt the clutch out on his car. So we had to wait 5 days in Adelaide in a hostel. I hate hostels so much. And then we started driving back up, and we had to drive at night. And kangaroos are just on the road all the time. So
Really?
just, like, you're not meant to drive at night, but we had no choice. And this kangaroo came across the road, and I was like, mate, fucking behind the wheel. Animals just don't want to live. So I'm behind the wheel. And this kangaroo was just sitting there, and I went down to like 25 miles an hour. You're driving well fast down there. Went down to like 25 miles an hour. Last minute, just hops in front of the car, and I have to like swivel round it. And I mean, that far away from killing that as well. And my mate just went like, oh! Fucking terrifying. I don't think I'd have been able to live with myself if I killed a kangaroo.
Mate, I seen a lizard in Thailand, and it was the biggest thing I've ever seen, just strolling across. Pure slow, man, right across
Was
the
that an iguana or something?
Yeah, maybe it's that. Aye. I don't
One of
actually
them.
know the name yet, but it was massive, mate.
They look like mini dinosaurs, don't they?
Aye.
I've seen one of them, fucking terrifying.
Do you think you could take a kangaroo?
Nah.
I've seen the things fight on.
I could take a wallaby.
Could you?
That's me mini ones.
But you can only take
Just
a.
volley one of them.
Wouldn't be able to take a full kangaroo.
I think they can really scrap.
They look solid.
And they're like, fucking, they've been curling quite a lot, man. They're huge. Like, their arms are massive. Nah, I think I'd get barred off a kangaroo. I think they could haymaker you.
Aye, they do look. I remember seeing a TikTok, and it was like the kangaroo had a dog in a headlock.
Aye.
And the mad guy just comes on,
They're definitely doing BJJ or something. Like, they know how to scrap.
walking into a room full of kangaroos just doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
They know how to scrap. It's not like a street fight with them. They've got like proper tactics, arm locks and all that.
Teaching it for the parents. when they're
I
younger.
am out of BJJ chat. I've rinsed it.
Australia's dope, but what's Bali like actually? Because I might ask you this. I've obviously not spoke to you since you got back.
So my favourite place in Asia I've been is Vietnam. I was going to say Asia.
I like Asia.
Vietnam was my favourite to travel anyway, but also my opinion would maybe change because that was a drinking thing for 2 months straight. The only days I didn't drink was that 3 days where I killed a cat and had to recover mentally and all
I
that.
bet.
Then I was back on it. So it would probably be different. Bali, I wasn't drinking. Weird. I think it's really weird, Bali, because it's like everywhere in Asia has like rich bits and poor bits, or like more touristy bits that are rich, not actually rich. Bali's just even more extreme. So it's kind of like some of it looks like Marbella. They're trying to get these big open like beach clubs, and it's like Marbella beach clubs, and they're not that cheap. But you can also still get to walk into a restaurant and pay £3 for like one of the best meals you've ever had in your life.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It was really humid when I was there, and also, even though I do work online, none of my friends, like 90% of my friends don't do this line of work or anything to do with social media, and there's a reason for that.
Yep.
I don't really get on with them. So I found it quite, like, we went to the CrossFit gym there, and I thought it was full of the worst cunts I've ever met.
Really? Aye.
Yeah, that. Don't get me wrong. So I've met the guy who owns it. I can't remember what his name is, but he's quite famous. I haven't a single bad word to say about him or the people that run it or the place. It's so cool. And the food is unbelievable. The coffee is unbelievable. It's more CrossFitters in Bali are like influencer bodybuilders, like
Oh, okay.
constantly filming themselves
Okay.
and really cliquey. So don't get me wrong, like it's still worth going.
Mhm.
You'd still, if you'd done a class, you'd still have a class time, but it's more, they all go and like that's their group and they don't hang about with anyone else.
Okay.
So when I went in there, like no one was really up for like, or they would speak to you, but then they go into their wee clique.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I
I
just
get
didn't
you.
like it. I prefer like a free for all and like everyone's just making friends with everyone.
Mhm.
I don't really like things like that.
Aye.
So I just found that quite difficult as well.
That's a bit shite.
Yeah. But like overall, it's good. Like, it's good. It's good for work.
I was going to say that it is very social media, because every time I see somebody like social media wise, like they live in Bali or something like
Yeah.
that, or somewhere over that way.
And if you wanted to get connections, say for yourself, like
Yeah.
just work with people that are in your line that are maybe making more money than you and doing better than you, it'd be quite a good way to be in with them and learn from loads of people as well, I reckon.
Aye. I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to try and expand and stuff. That's why I was speaking about the storytelling and stuff like that earlier on, because I want to start venturing more into YouTube. Because ideally, is over the next couple of years, I'd rather just be like a content creator.
Was it you that asked should you delete your YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you should.
So I didn't, but I deleted every video that's on it.
I think you should just delete it and start again.
Think so?
Yeah.
Because I seen a guy do that, and then he started uploading on a new channel, and he was getting the exact same views as he was on his old channel.
Yeah, but you would rather have that with no subscribers.
True.
I would start it again.
That's the
You-
only reason why I've not started YouTube again, is because I still don't know the answer to that.
I would start it again. Just and it'll be nowhere near as fast as your TikTok.
Yeah,
It'll take you like 3 years to.
and build it back up.
Yeah.
But at least it'll be people that like that content and no dance content that used to be up and stuff like that.
And it'll be when I first started Instagram, I had like 18,000 followers from freestyle, and I went through individually deleted 16,000 of them. I only kept followers that were either people I knew or that had followed me since I'd started PTing, so I didn't do it straight away. I'd
Yep.
done it like 3 months in, and I'd gained like 1,000 followers, so I kept all of them,
Yep.
and then kept the 1,000 people that were like people I followed or people I knew.
On YouTube or
Instagram.
Instagram? You don't do YouTube, do you?
No, but I definitely don't want to keep doing short form content.
No,
It's just I don't have the business and the following to fall back on to transition to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like there's more, because I remember a guy speaking about this recently, there's more of a community base on YouTube than there is on like TikTok and stuff like that as well. Because like even though like I've got 40,000 followers and stuff like that, you never really get that amount of views and stuff like that. Like
Well,
on TikTok.
TikTok's just a scrolling platform. Instagram's way better for building your actual audience.
Yeah.
Like with DMs, stories,
Mm-hmm.
it's just way better.
Aye.
It's way better business wise. That's why I switched to not focusing on TikTok. My inquiries I got from TikTok were the worst of the worst as well.
That right, aye.
Yeah. Awful.
Just random ass
People go on TikTok have got like ADHD on steroids.
It's fucking true, actually.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye. That's why, but I do coaching on the Instagram side of it. TikTok's just for fun, but YouTube is where I want to build like a community and eventually start creating like, I don't mean Casey Neistat type like content and stuff like that, but that's stuff like I kind of enjoy, like to try to tell stories and stuff like that while doing video stuff. So that's stuff I eventually want to move into.
It's just be a big hit to the like fucking dopamine.
Yeah.
You'll get nothing for ages.
No.
Like absolutely nada.
Aye.
So that's the thing. I think I'll do a podcast, and I think I'm just gonna fully go for the podcast.
Aye.
Upload clips all the time, because I can't do the daily short form stuff, and it needs to be daily if you want to
Aye, that's right.
bang. And then like as soon as you stop posting, it dies. I'm gonna do a weekly podcast. Good setup, good guess.
Yep.
Suits my personality more. That's the way I'm
And
gonna go.
you can get a bunch of content and stuff like that as well that you can add on the other platforms.
So you're gonna how are you going forward? Like, so say the next 6 months, what are you looking to do? I remember seeing a video you done. You're like, I'm kind of floating through life. I
Yeah.
was going through that in sort of March.
So, so right now training towards a speed triathlon, which is on the 16th of July.
Is that where you just take a line of speed before? And then
That's
go
pretty
for
much it, mate. Just a line right off the table and we go for it. So, I'm doing that. And
The
then,
water trays are just fucking nice.
mate, I might need to take a line before I go in the open water, man. That gives me the absolute anxiety fear. I swear to God, that my anxiety will just kick in when I'm out in the water, and it's just like, there's nothing to hold on to.
Yeah.
What hands of a panic. But anyway, so going to be doing that, mate. Start YouTube again. Start uploading onto that, and then just continuously build up the coaching business on Instagram.
And I want to talk more business. Like, what's the plan to get more clients? Any more gurus you're going to go on with? Have you
No, I don't.
got enough money to put it into that again?
I don't feel like because I downloaded the whole setup anyway from the start, so I know what I need to do in order to implement it and stuff like that. So we talk about like kill shots and stuff like that, like within this mentorship. Kill shot. What's that? So a kill shot is where you just go in and you kill shot somebody basically. So for instance, like if you put up I was getting to it, you didn't let me finish. You're just gonna kill somebody. Game over. Like for instance, if someone interacts with your poll and stuff like that, you then go in with a kill shot and then you send like a message and blah blah blah. Thanks for interacting with my post and blah, blah. That's pretty much it. Just finish right out, mate.
Right, no, I'm sorry, I'll stop interrupting you. Go again.
So it's things like that where you regularly update polls, like maybe on a Monday and a Wednesday and stuff like that, where people can interact, and then when people interact with it, you fire them a message and stuff like that. Because that happened before, and I get about 2 or 3 clients at it, even though they didn't show any interest in it. It was just the fact that they interacted with that post and stuff.
What's the message you send out?
I can't remember what it is. They gave you an exact message. You just so I've got a bunch of messages saved and stuff like that on my phone that you just send out and stuff like that. So
give me some other strategies.
Other strategies on top of that. They do talk about the type of content that you add up in terms of talking about calories or talking about exercises and stuff like that as well, just to show that you know what you're talking about and stuff like that as well. Give you some kind of authority on the platform and stuff like that as well. But like strategy wise, they just say it's just about being active as possible, making sure that you're uploading a post, a reel, like pretty much every second day and stuff for that. 67 stories per day and stuff for that. And then ones that
per week.
No, per day. 67 per day stories. But it could just be a picture. We're talking about actual just stories. So I could just take a picture here of me and you, and that's one story. I could take a picture.
67.
I could no 6 or 7.
Right. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was like, that's not that. That's not that much. Yeah. But yeah, the business strategy is literally just being consistent, mate, and just keeping your face in front of people all the time. Because if they consistently see your face all the time, then they get more chance of being like, I keep seeing him talking about losing weight and blah, blah, and I've been dying to get back in the gym and stuff for that. Like, I might fire them a message. Or they've been thinking about it, and then you eventually fire them like a cold message or a kill shot, and they're like, do you know what, actually, I am going to go.
Does any of that feel scummy at all? That doesn't sound scummy, but like that's what puts me off of some of the business and the business mentorships. Like even listening to Alex Hormozy the other day, like the way he's getting round people that don't want to sign up and bringing them back round. He's like, yeah, but you need to get them to understand why they don't want to sign up.
Yep.
And I'm always like, but they'll be bad clients. And like, do you know what I mean? And like the way I really didn't like the way he talked about selling weight loss to people. He was like, you need to make sure that they understand that it's a quick fix. And I'm like, but it won't be a quick fix. And if they come at a quick fix, they'll just, all you're going to do is get them to get a transformation photo, they'll put it back on. I don't like it. It's not right. It's not right. It's not real.
I'm the exact same as you. I hate the salesy part. Like, it's not even that I'm not good at it. It's just that I just feel like you're imposing almost. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what I have realized is a lot of these people do actually want to change, but they're scared just to message or speak up, or they haven't really thought about how to go about it. So sometimes me putting in a message and stuff like that and being like, do you know what, actually I might see this as a sign, actually sign up and stuff like that. So yeah, in terms of the salesy part, I'm just like, I don't like it. But at the same time, a majority of these people do actually want to change or do actually want to sign up. And these are, whatever you want to call it, tactics or whatever, that help sign up clients and stuff.
I'm definitely learning more about it. Like the one thing I was against was like saying DM me something, and I've started doing that, but it gets way more people. They are like cold though. They're not that. Yep. They're not definitely going to come on. Rather the people that are like, here, this is the scenario. Can I get coached? I'm like, right, sign you up straight away. Yep. But the ones that put the feelers out, like maybe like 3 months time, they'll come back again. Yeah. And I'm being way smarter with it this time. I basically, mate, I need to make sure that I have like capitalize on like having a following and like stop being a fanny basically. I've been a bit of a fanny for a few years, but to be fair, I wasn't that good at coaching. So if I took on too many when I wasn't that good at coaching because I got a bad reputation, I took on the amount that I could handle and I tried my best at the time. I'm a way better coach now. That's the way I feel about it.
I'm the exact same as you. Like I don't go beyond my limits right now. Like I've never went beyond like 10 clients, and I won't, because I'm sticking to small numbers and stuff like that, just until I learn with everybody that I'm doing, like the mistakes and stuff like that, and then learn from them. And then eventually down the line, I will take on more clients and stuff. But that's one of the things when you talk about the 10K and the mentorships and stuff like that.
Why is that the goal?
I don't
Why
know.
5K is fucking loads.
5K is a lot.
Like, why is 10K the goal? It just sounds, well, obviously it's the fucking catchphrase. It's like, why is everything 99 pence? But it's I hate all of it.
Some people in the mentorship that I was in were earning like 35 grand a month. They were at a stage. They'd actually, like those two groups in the one.
See, could you know how their businesses work?
Huh?
Do you know how their businesses work? So like 35K, were they also business mentors?
Well, that's what I was going to say. There was two groups. So there's like coaches, and then once you earn a certain amount of money, you move on to the next stage, right? And
It's
then
a fucking pyramid scheme, mate.
and
That's
then-
all a pyramid scheme.
within this stage, they have coaches under them. So they have coaches under their coaches, and that's how they can obviously bring in like a certain amount of money and stuff like that.
There's people that do this that are like, they never ever coached properly. They just skip all of it, and then next thing you know, they're coaching coaches how to get clients. It's
I
like,
remember-
you skipped all that.
But that's the thing, like, see for instance, you being an online coach, like you don't actually need a certification for it.
Nah,
Like
you
I
don't
remember
do.
there was somebody in the coaching in the group that had never done his certification.
Well, that's why it's also so bad. Not that you learn anything for the certification, but you learn by doing stuff.
Yep.
I remember this is probably the main mentorship, again, won't name names, but somebody sent me a screenshot from it, and the girl was asking in the group, bear in mind this group is like, you need to act like a 10-figure coach, you need to up your prices, you need to be charging at least 4 figures for 12 weeks of coaching. And while she's getting all that advice, she put up in the group, does anyone know how many calories to put someone on that wants to build muscle? Wow. Yeah. Like the bottom of the bottom education. Do you know what I mean? Like the
That's
simplest
literally the simple.
of the and there's not even like a right answer for that either.
Yeah.
It's like, you're gonna give more context.
Literally,
Horrendous.
that's wild.
It's so bad. I hate this industry. But I need to stop saying. I need to stop being so fucking negative.
Because that's the
I
thing.
love this place.
But see, the thing is, like, I understand what you mean. Like, there's hundreds of people that are copycats. There's hundreds of shit stuff. But there's a lot of good people in the industry that give you a lot of good information and stuff for that as well, and make positive change and stuff for that. So
It's got a lot better as well.
yeah,
I think I said this to someone else and he didn't agree with me, but I think James Smith has actually brought in quite a lot of good. I think he's convinced a lot of good people to do PTing. Even though he's really fucking controversial and shit sometimes. Sometimes you just say something.
cutthroat.
You just say something about a fat model or whatever. It's like, what's there any need though? Do you know what I mean?
That just reminds me of that Australian guy I was telling you to start when he's like, "All right, fat cunt." Obviously, not in that accent because that's not an Australian accent.
It's a
but anyway.
Scouser.
But he just comes on every video, just calling everybody fat cunts and stuff for that. Hilarious. I'm actually going to tag you if you don't know who I'm talking
Do you actually like it, or are you?
No, I actually do like it
Do you?
because he's just cutthroat and straight to the point. But he's very informative as well, so he puts a lot of good information and stuff for that for people to learn.
Right, I think we'll end this here. I knew that was going to happen. We actually sat outside, and there was about 5 things we wanted to say, and I completely forgot all of them.
Same.
It doesn't help when 2 of you are undiagnosed.
Just
I
go
should
on.
probably get. And I don't know if I have it. I don't want to say that I have it because it's annoying me that
You
everyone
have
says
it.
they have it.
You have it.
Sorry.
You have it.
How do you know?
If you see how much he fidgets during it, you'll be able to tell straight away.
Me?
Yeah. I fidget as
I
well.
don't fidget.
I fidget. I madly
I
fidget.
spin.
I spin.
That's different. Anyway, right. Fucking plug your shite or whatever.
What is my shit? Oh, it's just the exact same. It's I am Chris Parry on
I haven't changed
TikTok,
any of the names.
Instagram, YouTube. Nah, just keeping it. Same.
Does a good gym vlog. The ones with your mum are the best. I think you know that anyway.
I need to get her involved with me, man. She's hilarious.
Get her on a wage and just rinse her.
She's so violent.
Yeah. What is that about?
That's the way I grew. Like my mom still tries to scrap. Like she's about 25. Like literally, I put up a video.
I love how you say that as if that's a normal thing.
No, that's a normal thing. Like yesterday, we were at a barbecue, right? And I was like carrying on with my niece, and I was decking her and stuff like that, right? Now my niece does Muay Thai as well, or used to do Muay Thai, so she can scrap, right? And then my mom just starts coming out like, "Oh, fucking day!" Starts throwing haymakers, and my mom tries to hurt me, like, cause she knows I can take it, so she just tries to throw haymakers and stuff, and then she just get ragdoll as well. That was good laugh.
Right, we'll let you go. I'll put all the stuff in the show notes. I didn't even know if you said it properly. Pleasure having you on.
You too, mate. Cheers.
Catch you.